Last season, we found our intrepid journeyman Nick Bottom take on what may have been the biggest challenge of his career, trying to keep Palermo out of the relegation zone and in Serie A for another year. He succeeded, and he is back for more. Welcome, everyone, to season number 2 of Off of the Bottom. I'm Mr. Cellophane. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not. We appreciate all of your support. We came back a little bit earlier this year because one thing I noticed, I mentioned it in the original video that started off this series, is I felt there were more jobs available in the first half of December than there were in the latter half. And I am absolutely correct. So we are back on the 1st of December, 2039, and there are jobs available for the taking. Now, Nick Bottom, as you remember, is a Greek national. 2 jobs are available at the bottom of the Greek Super League. Aris and Volos, we are going to apply for both of them. Remember, we're taking teams from Belgium, from Italy, from Germany, from France, from England, from Spain, from Greece, obviously because it's the country of origin of our manager, and Denmark as well. Top flight, must be in the relegation zone, and of course the job must be available, although we kind of got to a point last year where we were like, oh, these jobs are insecure. Let's see if we can drum up some interest in our Champions League winning coach. We also have Lyngby in the Danish Superliga. However, they are not yet in the relegation zone. I don't believe. There was the relegation stage, but I think I'd feel a little more comfortable if they were in like the bottom 2 slots, but Lyngby is definitely a possibility. In the Premier League, Fulham is mid-table, which is very disturbing because they were a Champions League team just a year ago, so Fulham is having a bit of a challenge. Nick Bottom did manage Fulham for a number of years in the earlier iteration of this save, which you can check out here on YouTube. One thing I have found very interesting is that Palermo is once again back in the relegation zone. They have fired the manager that took over from us. Marco Imperiale, sacked without a single victory to his name. They sit 19th. Casemiro, who was our assistant manager, has taken over for the season. But in Serie A right now, things not looking good for Palermo. 0-4 and 12. They are ahead of Spezia on goal difference alone. Now, we are not going to go back to where we were, so Palermo is not an option right now. I'm probably going to stay away from Serie A if we are able to, but we do have a job in the Dutch Eredivisie. RKC Valvik on 10 points, 3 wins, 1 draw, 12 losses, and a minus 15 goal difference. Never managed in the Eredivisie, and 3 potential jobs available in La Liga. Burgos is, they fired their manager, 5 points on 5 draws. We've got Mallorca currently sitting in 17th place, which is right outside of the relegation zone, but they are tied on points with Girona, who is in a relegation position in 18th. So we're going to apply for all of these jobs. Hopefully we get an interview very soon. We are a very successful coach after all, and we'll see if anything else becomes available in the meantime. It has only taken 2 days, the 3rd of December, and we have been offered an interview with NPS Volos, currently 1 up from the bottom of the table in the Greek Super League. So a chance for us to go back to our home country, and I feel like whenever there are going to be Greek jobs available, we are going to be in the running. Now, this one probably fits exactly the mold we're looking for. They are just about 3 million euros in the hole. We're overspending. They are overspending their wage budget. But let's go to the interview and see what happens. Everything is fairly standard. Give me a chance to be in the country. Why I've managed a number of clubs. It's given me a wide range of experience. Why am I interested in dropping down? It really doesn't make a difference what level I choose to work for. Can I explain why I'm in the running for a bunch of jobs? Well, I'm just exploring my options. Can I ease their worries about losing the backing of my players? Come on. Very much the exception rather than the rule. They want to ensure the dressing room atmosphere is much better than under their previous manager. I'm not going to have a problem. Don't you worry about it. My relationship with the fans is clear. I consider myself a strong motivator, which is what makes me ideal for a club that is unexpectedly in the relegation zone all season long. We're not going to commit to working with the director of football, and pretty standard, avoid relegation from the Super League. I like that. No, we're not going to try to exceed expectations at all. Whatever your budgets are fine with me. No further demands. Thank you very much for your time. We did miss out on the Genoa job. It was basically filled before we ever even applied, and no real new jobs have come up. Panathinaikos in the Greek Super League, but they're in 5th, so they don't count. We did also apply. I neglected to mention it the last time we went through this list. Norwich City, currently sitting 19th in the Premier League. We have secured a couple of interviews, however, which we are about to embark on. RKC Valvik and Borgos, both possibly in the running for our services, so very good for us to have gotten 3 job interview opportunities so early on. All I can do is give us a little bit more time to craft the team into our vision and hopefully keep them safe for another year in their respective league. I do have to admit, one of the slightly frustrating things about doing a save such as this is sometimes a job will come up that you look at, and under normal circumstances you'd be like, oh, that would be cool, except we can't take it. Like Union SG in the Jupiler Pro League. They're in 12th. They're outside of the relegation zone. Probably a nifty team. We started our career with Nick Bonham, of course, in Belgium. We never managed at the top flight. That would be cool. Lyngby in Denmark would love it. They're still in 10th. They're not in the relegation zone, although they are in the relegation. It's complicated in Denmark. We may have to reevaluate how we're going to do that. And Sparta Rotterdam, they are 8th. And we can't manage them. But we are the leading candidate at RKC Valvik. We've interviewed with them. We've interviewed with Borgos in La Liga. It looks like the other Spanish job that was available has been filled. So Borgos is truly at the bottom of the table. Obviously, we have not applied to Palermo. We have thrown our hat in the ring at Sampdoria, but I'm not sure if I want to go back to Serie A. And we are also the leading candidate for Fulham, but we're obviously not applying there because they are still a mid-table team. We also did, in the meantime, interview with not only Norwich City, but also Aris in Greece. So we've had, 5 or 6 job interviews, and a couple of them are beginning to bear fruit. RKC Valvik has requested backroom staff changes. So we're going to go through and call that list. They asked us if we wanted to make big changes, and we just said some small ones will be fine. We probably do need to make wholesale changes with a team that is right at the bottom of the table and relegation threatened, but you want to say what you can to get the job interview. We also have been approached by Volos in Greece. They want to avoid relegation from the Super League. They're offering us $5,000 a week, which is a step down money-wise from where we just were at Palermo. But again, for this save, usually for the Journeyman, I love to revel in the realism, do things that I would normally do, but for this save, we're kind of putting that aside. $55K in the transfer budget, $115,000 in the wage budget. We are going to delay this decision because we do have the possibility at RKC Valvik as well that we definitely want to pursue. So we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to see what that's all about, and we will have a decision to make. And it looks like we're going to be able to make that decision much sooner than we did the first time around. And wow, I asked for a small budget. They gave me 1.7 million euros. So I might be able to replace the entire staff. We're going to find out. This may take a little while. It does amaze me that after winning the treble with PSG, including a Champions League victory and a resounding one at that, it took us nearly a month to be offered our first job last season. Here, it has been a week, and we already have 2 on the table. Volos in Greece have tabled an offer, $5,000 a week. Minimal transfer budget, I think $55,000, $155,000 in wage budget. We have also gotten ourselves a job offer, 3-year contract, 12,750 euros per week, and 850,000 euro transfer budget, 250,000 a week in wages to avoid relegation from the Eredivisie with RKC Valvik. Now, we are going to delay this one as well. We have a number of other job interviews out there. We're going to continue to press forward, see if there are any new jobs available. Let's take a peek. As of right now, no, there is nothing different from what we have seen before. You know what? Let's apply for the Lyngby job. No, we can't even apply for the Lyngby job. They've already filled it. So, there we go. Just one day after delaying the Eredivisie job, Burgos CF, currently sitting at the bottom of the table in La Liga in Spain, have requested changes to their back room. Now, this is a slightly juicy situation. They've got 26.5 million euros in the bank. They have 356,000 euros in wage budget available, and we have not yet hit the winter transfer window. However, it would be a long climb. Burgos, no wins, 5 draws, 11 losses through 16 matches. So nearly halfway through the season. And they are already 8 points from safety with 3 teams between them and the outside of the relegation zone. We're going to throw it in. We're going to see what they offer. But now we have 3 jobs that we could potentially choose from. And honestly, no surprise here, we have been offered the job at Burgos. 17.5 million in the transfer budget. Again, a ton of wage budget as well. Now, one of the things I did discover as I was going through looking to make those changes is the recruitment team on Burgos was absolutely tragic. And I'm in the job of entertaining you and not depressing you, so I didn't show you that on camera. We are going to, again, delay this, a 3-year deal, 28,500 per week. I think it's between this and Valvik in the Eredivisie right now. Both are challenges. Aris in Greece, as much as I want Nick Bottom to go to Greece, maybe that is like the final destination, and maybe once we get to Greece, we turn it into more of a, not build a nation necessarily, but building up whatever club we do successfully take off of the bottom. I don't know. Again, that is a conversation for another time. Drop a comment down below if you'd like to see that when we are through. I'd like to maybe hit each of the leagues that we are including for the jobs throughout the course of this save. Maybe, 1 year in England, 1 year in France. Obviously, we've done Italy. Potentially, we're looking at Spain or the Netherlands, maybe a year in Denmark, whatever we end up doing, kind of making the rounds. Not sure if we're going to revisit a country again. We might. Haven't decided. It's my sandbox, and I'm going to fake it until I make it. I know I was doing all this talking earlier about realism and what would be best and how we're kind of throwing that out the window. Well, I'm throwing that out the window. We rejected an opportunity at Aris. They offered us $3,500 a week. We rejected a job interview offer from Sampdoria, and we have chosen ourselves a club. My friends, we are taking our talents to Carrow Road. Norwich City today have confirmed the appointment of Nick Bottom as the club's new manager. So we decided Burgos, Valvik, and Volos were not for us. Again, we got offered the job at Aris as well. 5 jobs to choose from, but we really did have to shoot for the moon. A 3-year deal, 50,000 euros per week. It's the biggest stadium we could possibly be playing in. Underperforming, obviously, this year. Norwich predicted 16th. We don't have an assistant manager. They didn't ask us to make any changes to the back room, so we are coming in here blind. They are spending their wage budget. There's about 500 grand or so remaining in the transfer budget. Great facilities, excellent youth recruitment. Very excited to be here. They run a 4-3-3, or at least they are doing so currently. We're going to evaluate the team in just a moment as we look to set up our tactical approach. Don't know if we're going to go with the split bananas again. We'll just have to look at the team. We may want to kind of shake things up just that little bit as we look to move forward. Play attacking, possession football, make the most of set pieces. We always try. High-tempo pressing football. Really, they're describing the split bananas. Kind of, sort of. They want us to be competitive in the FA Cup, be competitive in the EFL Cup, which is the Carabao Cup, and avoid relegation from the Premier League while developing players in the who cares about that? We're only going to be here for like 6 months or so. We will have an introductory press conference, which we are going to do off camera. We're going to take a look at the team right now and see what our tactical direction should be. Probably our best player on the squad is our striker, the number 10, Paddy Douglas. He's capped twice for Ireland. Also, a nice handful of U21 caps. He's 24 years old. And he's a pretty talented guy, standing at 6'1". Then we have Juan Martin Ruiz, a left winger. Crossing ability is off the charts. In fact, his physicals are fantastic. He's got probably the best agility of any player that we have seen so far. Another left winger probably may go over to the right side, maybe a backup. Also a very talented player, Oscar, 31-year-old Spaniard, currently not for sale, picked up for $44.5 million from Aston Villa, making $135,000 a week. So that's a good chunk, I think, of our wages. So maybe we look to make a change. Oscar, very talented player on the squad. Cham Kasapoğlu can play either the right back position or as a defensive center back. He is 6'3". Great jumping reach. His mentals are pretty strong. Not bad with the marking, tackling, positioning as well. He likes to stay back at all times, so maybe he'll play as a center back rather than potentially a right back. He's only made 15 appearances for the club, picked up for $16 million from Besiktas. Probably our top choice on the right wing will be a 30-year-old French-Swedish dual international, Sylvain Esnault. Again, his technical ability pretty good. Like, we're seeing players with a much higher level ability than we ever saw at Palermo. So hopefully this will be a step up, and these players will give us an opportunity. And they look pretty good so far. Another very talented, defensive midfielder, really, or potentially a regular midfielder as well. He can play center back, but at 5'9", there is no way he's ever going to go back there. 30-year-old Colombian. He has capped once for his country. Simon Atalovo. Again, decent amount of pace, very good balance. His passing ability is really fantastic. He's got great vision as well. Right back, Michael Walker. He is a fullback by trade. 5'9", makes me a little wary about him on the back post. $29.5 million from Brentford. He's 32 years old, signed for another 2 years or a year and a half or so. Also on the back line, standing at 6'2". 15 jumping reach, not bad. Great fitness. He can be out there for the whole time. His positioning is fantastic. Good tackling abilities as well. He can pass the ball. His work rate's a little weak for what we like, but he does love the big matches. So potentially center back, maybe as a defensive midfielder as well. Amaro Nalo actually picked him up from Palermo once upon a time for $7 million. One thing I am noticing is this club is a little bit older than we are used to. In the midfield, João Veloso, 34 years old. Again, this is an aging squad. Absolutely. Picked up on a free from Bochum. Another midfielder, could play also on the right-hand side. Leicio, a 32-year-old Brazilian. So many guys in their 30s, but he is very quick. Again, super agile, brings a lot of leadership to the team as well. He's picked up Baker's dozen worth of goals in his 4 seasons here at Craven Cottage. Victor Barreto, a center back, currently injured. How long is he going to be out for? Just another couple of weeks. He's okay. Good position. His tackling ability, though, is tremendous. And can really get in the air. 6'1". Doesn't really like the big matches. May not be quite ready for prime time. The 22-year-old Uruguayan has capped at the U20 level. Another great passer, although his vision lacks just a little bit. 5'10", French-Algerian dual national. 45 international caps. Walid Sahraoui, 25 years old. I may have already mentioned that. Loves the big matches, although rated by our staff as just a good championship player, maybe not quite ready for prime time. The one thing that we haven't looked at yet is goalkeeper, which it seems to be is always going to be a weakness on these teams. Although I do like the bones of Abubakar Diarra, 32 years old, 134 caps for Mali. So he is an international player. Has only made 1 appearance so far for Norwich. So he has a new pickup, $11.25 million from Olympiacos. The other goalkeeper that we are considering and seems to have been the starter, his aerial reach is terrible, 5'10", the 31-year-old South African international, 109 caps for South Africa. I don't know where they're rated. Loves the big matches, but not really great. Obviously, goalkeeper is an area that we could stand to use some improvement in. So I am thinking to go with a 4-3-3 based on what I have seen. I've thrown in kind of our best 11. We're going to evaluate this. We do have a match coming up in less than a week. I believe we are taking on we are taking on Sunderland on the road next Saturday, so 6 days away, and then a Monday tilt on Boxing Day at home against my personal favorite team, Everton. Based on the best 11, Ngidi, Walker, Nalo, Chem, and Devine. Did we even look at UL Devine? Let's take a peek at him right now. Oh, he's got a ton of pace. Again, kind of diminutive for that right side. He has a very strong right foot, though. His crossing ability actually is not bad. He's decent defensively, okay positioning. Offensively, not as great. I do like his level of aggression, and he's got tremendous decision making, yet can't get up in the air. 2 rating in jumping reach. So I hope you come back. It's Sunderland and Everton as we bet ourselves in here with our second club of the save, taking over Norwich City. Can we bring success to Craven Cottage? Hey, if we win our first match, we pull ourselves right out of the relegation zone. The trick is going to be, can we keep ourselves there? You're just going to have to come back tomorrow and find out. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Thank you, everyone, for your support so far. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, Babar.